Wow, I stayed up just a little bit too late last night trying to capture the eclipse with mixed results. I'm out here right now checking the corn I planted. Gary is out spraying, which I'll probably be doing here in a little bit. Let's take a look at the corn, see where it's at. I haven't checked on the sweet corn in a while. Every year Gary has a friend come over with a tractor and they plant 6 rows of sweet corn. Pretty good stand. I don't know if you can actually row it or not. I can't really tell in the camera, but you might be able to see little green rows. Goes down to about that post, and then down to that, almost down to that telephone pole. So, sweet corn. Gary just came back in from planting, and I think he said he finished up what he was doing. Probably wait to do a little more tomorrow morning. Wind's starting to come up, and try not to do that when the wind's up. There's like 3 seed tubes on this planter that are kind of wearing out, so we're probably gonna replace those and then hop back in and start planting again. A little bit of a slow start planting. Did a lot of running around. We had to shuffle equipment back and forth. Got down here and I just made one pass and I lifted up and I got a low tire, of course. I don't know where I'm gonna put that thing. I got a bed full of seeds here and the cab of my truck is full of stuff in the back. I guess it's gonna have to ride passenger. I think it'll fit in there. Jesus. Come on. Come on. Don't kill me. Oh, shit. Really? Alright, can you just stay there for a couple miles and not set off the airbag? Of course, the place where I stopped the tractor is with the stem behind that bracket. Seriously, can we just get going now? This is ridiculous. It's just gonna be one of those days. Filled it up, just start going. Went from there to there, and I already got a row saying it's not planting right. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Chain is on. Good God, I don't think we're ever gonna get going today. I don't know. What's your problem, number 5? Can't you be like number 6 and 7? Well, brushing it out a little bit seems like it worked. There's an optical sensor in there. And if it doesn't think a seed is going by, or if it doesn't see a seed going by, then it starts howling at you, which is about the most obnoxious sound in the world. You know what, we're just driving around that one this time. Well, it seems to be going well for the time being. Row number 5 still wants to act up, but I think it's an electrical issue and not an issue of it planting or not. I went back and dug around and then there were still seeds in there. So it seems like everything's probably all right still. Doing the perimeters is kind of a pain in the butt, especially when we've had rain and it's a little wet down there. You really got to pay attention to what you're doing or you'll get mudded up, and hopefully I won't have to demonstrate what that it's all about. Luckily I remembered to bring my Bubba today. These things are awesome. They're so heavy and big and fat. I can just set it on the floor and it'll sit there all day without falling over or anything. This field that I'm planting right now is honestly probably one of the most challenging fields that we have for me. Every year you try and do better, like making sure you're getting everything covered in the most effective way. There's a lot of little subtleties that you wouldn't really know about until you farm it a season, and then you figure out next year you're like, wow, that was a really dumb decision, or hey, that was a great idea. You never really know. I kind of doing this line that I'm cutting right now through the middle of the field a little bit different than I have in the past, but I think it's probably for the better. But who knows? We'll know a little later this year. I'm gonna try and get this field done today. A little bit of a late start. This one's a little difficult because it's got a lot of weird terraces and a lot of turns, a lot of washouts, places where the water doesn't evacuate quick enough and makes puddles. And we are late getting planted and it needs to be done. Well, I knew it couldn't go on for forever, but we plugged up this row here, and we're gonna have to unplug it. It just gets wet. Once it gets wet and a little bit of mud builds up, it just keeps collecting everything. And well, it's the only way to fix it is to remove the wheels. The important part here is to make sure you don't lose any spacers or washers or anything. Sometimes you can dig some of that out. And it'll go fine, but it's almost best to remove the tires. I just prefer to just remove the tires if you can get them off. The problem is they get so packed with stuff that they won't turn and they won't come off. We've really got to watch out because the true V blades, the metal discs that we put on a couple springs ago, those things have been dragging through the ground for hours and they are razor sharp. There we go. See? Pops out, builds all that mud up in there. You gotta make sure you don't lose all your washers there. But these things right there are sharp as hell. Sometimes you gotta make sure they spin. Back in business. Now for a little farmer soap. Grease on your hands, actually rubbing dirt on it, help take care of that. Now my hands are dirty, but better dirty than greasy. All right, let's go. I had to go out and adjust my marker arm. Gary likes them pitched in a little more than I do, so they make a really thin, harder to see line. He's got a lot of years on me as far as farming, and so he can see that stuff better than I can. I have to adjust it so it cuts a little more of a groove so I can see my line better. And I think it drives him crazy, to be quite honest, but like, my concern is that if my rows aren't straight, then everything's just gonna be a mess. I mean, if you can't see where you're going. Yeah, I suppose it cuts. It tends to make it a little muddier when you come back on the next pass for the center rows, but I haven't had any problems with that. So I just went out and pounded it around a little bit to make it a little more severe so I can see what I'm doing. You can probably see it back there in the rows, like a nice line as we turn here. Since we took that break, it's actually working really well. I don't know if they're just gotten enough wind and sun up that it's dried out a little bit. That's one hard thing about, that's one thing about doing no-till, is that when there is moisture, it sits under all those leaves and everything, and doesn't really dry out the soil as much, which is good, but sometimes you can want the soil to dry out. Wow, two really big coyote holes over here. They like to come in your field and dig holes. Whoa, hello, big hole. Okay, this is kind of stupid, but I gotta go see this hole. Oh, it's deep in there too. Anybody home? Anybody home in there? Here, coyote, coyote. Or whatever dug it. Those are probably some of the biggest holes I've ever seen in our field. I'm glad I saw him before I just drove over him with the tractor at full speed. Let's see where we're at on seeds. It's been going really smooth, actually. Time to put seeds in the planter. This broken bag here. That's gonna be a pain in the butt. I hope it doesn't split right in the middle. Hey, is there more graphite at the farm? Do you have some?
7. I put some in the cab. There's some laying around on the floor there.
Oh, there is. Okay, cool. Sorry to bug you.
2. Oh no, how's it working? Any better?
Way better. I don't know if it was just enough time and wind and sun to like dry it off, but I haven't had any problems, so
good.
Just gonna keep rolling.
I'm spraying over on the 80. I decided to go out and put one load on since it might rain, so.
Okay.
All right, take care.
Yep, bye.
Bye.
Well, that's good. 1,409 kernels per pound, 56.81 pounds. That's a lot of corn. Times 12 rows, and we fill it 2 times. That works pretty well. This just keeps them lubricated. All that'll vibrate down. Next time you open them, they're kind of they kind of got this, looks like looks graphite, it looks like a pencil. What the hell is that sound? Hear that? That was a really weird sound. I'm assuming it had something to do with the air conditioner. Well, we made a good run at it, but I didn't quite get done. I have this little triangle here, which I'm not really sure how many acres it is, but I've gone around the 3 points one time. I need to do one more time, and then cut back. It won't take very much. And then I have a little bit. It was really wet at the edge, so I have 12 rows that I just have to go around some of the perimeter a little bit more. Not much left at all. But it's getting dark, and I have a flat tire on the planter, and I think Gary just wanted to wait until tomorrow. By the time we get a compressor set up, get it over here, start dinking around, it's going to be dark. And unfortunately, since this has a flat and things kind of worked out weird, my truck is like half a mile away, so I can do some walking. Feels good to get out and walk a little bit. God, my legs are all cramped up. Animals sure like to rub on these things. Get out of the fertilizer got knocked over. It's a really nice night out. See if I can get to the truck without walking through a swamp. It's probably gonna be really wet down there. I probably should go around the end. Just makes the trip longer. I usually would cut through there, but it's so wet that I think I might be walking in a swamp, so I'm gonna walk around. The truck just keeps getting filled up with more and more crap.